off and reshare that. I know. I know. Because I was going to wait, and then I was like, oh no, but then I want to repost with a new link. That's a correct link. And then we can do audio checks. Oh, that's the old version. It's a better link. That's a stronger link. Okay, what if can so is it not gonna okay, so it doesn't play.
Sunday morning, sun shines bright, 11 a.m. he feels just right. Justin, Spurr, and Jordan too, they got the talks just for you. Movies old and movies new, pop culture trends they pull you through. Got your ear until the end.
For people who turn
Feels
up
like
to the free show, they get to see a little sneak peek. Cause I needed to make sure. But was it playing the sound?
I didn't hear me. I heard you a lot, but I never heard me talk.
No, I mean, was the music playing?
Oh, I turned it down so that I wouldn't spoil it.
Oh, I wanted to test. I'm sure. Okay, good. Good. Sounds like I'm.
It doesn't sound like it captured me.
That's it.
I just made that point that
You're talking, and then you respond to what I say, but I didn't hear me say
That's
anything.
because I've got my desktop audio off. That's why. You can hear me. You can hear me talking through the theme song? That sucks.
You're talking, and then I say, but I didn't hear me say anything. Okay, so I think our audio is good now. Although I haven't
picked up me, right?
Yeah. Got it. Oh, I got it. Yep, that checks out. Okay. I'm sure you'll work it out, or you won't, and it'll be funny. So, how far away is Jake? And he okay.
So now he's 5. So now he's 5 minutes.
5 minutes, another 5 minutes to get set up. You know, by the time we get through the rambly beginnings and the news and everything, yeah, he'll be here. Good. Good. Yes. Good. You can't. Come on, man. We had the build up there. We were ready to go. That was.
Wait a minute. It's like 3, 2. Just kidding.
3, 2. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. No, not ready. Hold on. Ooh. Flawless. It's the anniversary special. I mean that version is still there, and you're too lazy to delete it. So for 10 for like 10 5 to 10 minutes, there's the anniversary special. Mufasa. No, yeah, he's been teasing it for like half a year at this point. Eh, I could believe that. He's the reason, probably one of the bigger reasons why people liked Moana in the first place is his music. He was in that one, right? Yeah, okay. Um, but yeah, no, this Mufasa, I just don't get it. I don't really, yeah, 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 no, not doing it for me.
It's like its own movie. Thinking Game of Thrones. I don't think I would watch that.
No, 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 me neither. Who wants the Iron Throne? Yeah, I was gonna say like Kimba from the thing that yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, there's also the you know, colonizers coming in and the White Lion and you know, Scar. Politician. He's very politician-y.
Like, no, I was just gonna say, like, instead of doing this movie, how about we just do Lion King 1.5? That, like, do a remake of that movie.
I mean, I mean, I don't know. I'll be okay. I'll be the first one who admits I am not a live action remake fan. I don't really like any of the live action remakes for the most part. That being said, Forget doing Lion King again. Let's do Treasure Planet. I'd like to see a live action
Yeah.
remake of that one. That one
Yeah.
feels like it'd be fun. I mean, I like that movie. I mean, that's fair. Um, Fun fact, when I was in college in VCAD, my animation teacher, he worked on that movie. He worked on Treasure Planet. Yeah. Yeah, I think it would be. I think it would work really well if they made that one live action or photorealistic, as I call the Lion King one, because when people call that one live action, it bothers me. It's not live action; it's photorealistic.
How would they do the pink like goop thing in Church Planet? I can't remember what that name. The
Morph, I believe his name
morph,
is.
morph it. How would they do morph? Yeah.
Yeah, it would probably be a CGI character if I had to guess. Same same kind of way they do Shrek or not Shrek,
Right.
Stitch. I guess where you make it look realistic looking, but it's still 3D.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
I mean, it would be funny, but it would for not a good movie make.
I thought Stitch looked very cute. He looked adorable.
Uh, see, this is me showing my I hate the live action remake showing. I think he looks like an abomination. Which I mean, one someone on the opposite side could make the argument he's supposed to look like an abomination, but I think he looks like an abomination. I maintain I'm surprised. I maintain I'm surprised they haven't tried to do a live action Iron Giant movie.
Yes. I mean, I'm just saying, like Stitch looks good for his age.
That helps. That really does help.
Mm.
Um, I can't even imagine who they would do if they did that.
Oh, fuck
Oka ta
no.
waki. Oka
No.
ta
Fuck
boka.
no. No, please no.
Patrick Stewart. Uh, James T. Kirk.
See, but it's worse. I feel like the worst live action they could do is like the Emperor's New Groove.
Well, my animation teacher back in the day always said animation is expensive. You would never do in like something in animation that you could just do in live action. The point of animation is to take it over the top and put it in a place that you can't as a human do. So yeah, you you mean the How to Train Your Dragon effect? Shot for shot remake? Except it's never gonna be that genie in the bottle that you caught the first time. Exactly.
At least Wicked did justice to that remake. Yeah. Holly Hollywood is learning. Hollywood is learning that if you market it as a movie musical, you get more money. Yeah.
Yeah, Hollywood, stop lying to people and trying to manipulate them. Just tell them the truth. They always do. Bad bad to mediocre is what we'll get. And s- and split into two movies. And split into two movies. What? We can split our movie musical into two parts and make double the profit? Fuck it, I'm in. That's what they're gonna learn. I mean,
I
I'd like the guy
don't.
who doesn't like movie musicals.
I don't. I, I don't like Book of. You know this, Jake. You know, Jake and Justin both know.
I like the Book of Mormon. I saw that live.
Just-
That's very true. That is very true.
I don't like South Park, so
Yeah, you're not gonna like the type of humor. They have a they have a very particular type of humor, and it's not for everyone. So I don't judge you for not liking it. Different different strokes for different folks. You know. Any any word on that mysterious Jake? By the way, no. Uh, that's I liked that franchise for the first three, and then we hit the end of the trilogy. We had a good resolution, and I kind of didn't need any more after that. I think it's okay to just let it retire for a while.
Hating Johnny Depp. I don't get it.
No, I don't even hate I hate what has been done to the character. I liked Jack Sparrow. That's where I said I liked him in the first 3 movies, but I don't think there needed to be more than 3 of those movies. It has an arc, and that movie has a what I feel is a good ending. Um, and every movie after that has just kind of been trying to recapture the spirit and energy of those first 3 movies, and it just for me has never succeeded. And at this point, have you ever heard the phrase beating a dead horse? I hope it doesn't. Okay. I was gonna say. Well, they've just been sad. Sad is the word I would use. Um, yeah, it's just a real I don't see the point kind of situation.
And I can't say jagged. Damn it! You know me way too well. You know me way too well.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I want the guy who doesn't like musicals. Man, welcome.
Am I?
Uh,
That's because this is not the right camera. Because this is the onboard camera. It is the the fuckery of Discord. Where the?
welcome, good sir.
Thank you. Happy birthday
A- Anniversary.
anniversary.
Birthday stream is next week.
Oh, right. Oh no, I meant birthday for the show, but yeah, I guess anniversary is a more.
It's the birth
Well, come now,
anniversary. That's what
I'm
I
not
call
the
it. The birth
only
anniversary.
the birth
Birth
anniversary.
anniversary.
Oh, okay, that's the right camera. It's just flipped. Oh, speaking of, there you guys are, right there on the wall of pride,
Yay, yay. That's
and
cool.
then Haley's there too. I just gotta. There she is.
There.
There she is. Everybody, almost everybody's there. I'm a little behind. We had a lot of podcasts join
That's cool.
in the year. Yeah, I think that's the only. Well, fortunately, I foresee moving in the next year or so. So I'll get a bigger wall.
I mean,
Oh,
that'd
I'm
be
gonna have
dope.
one of those.
I can hear. Sorry, I'm taking a screenshot of something so I can show you later because my screen is very funny right now because me, you, and Haley are all the same size, and then off to the left, Jake is just this like slightly smaller square that is like discernibly different, and I can't figure out why. So yeah, so I couldn't think of what.
That's going to be tough for me because most of the musicals I like have already been made into movies.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite one even got remade, so I can't even say a remake.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, you know
That's it.
what? Yeah, either Book of Mormon or see, I don't I agreed with this beforehand, but now I don't think there needs to be a Back to the Future musical theatrically.
Um,
Oh, he's tremendous. I was gonna say,
huh.
yeah, the producers got made into a movie, which I enjoyed. Um, okay, I've got one for you. Um, believe it or not, I think they could pull it off. Deadpool the musical. See, that's the thing. Whenever people criticize Deadpool, though, I always have to. It's most people understand this is Deadpool, and this sounds odd coming from me because I tend to not like the really silly random stuff. But Deadpool's the exception because Deadpool's been that from day one. Oh, the concept of a Deadpool musical is like it's right up his alley because
Absolutely.
Wade just wakes up one day and decides to start singing. And the bit could be that he's the only one that sings throughout the musical, except only the insane people have musical numbers. And
I'd watch.
everybody
I'd
else
watch
is just
that.
like, what's going on?
Mm.
Levy. Yeah.
I'd watch that. Um, um, so I have two, and yes, I'm aware one of these kind of exists, and it's an animated movie. I either want them to remake Dear Evan Hansen but make it good, or I want a Nightmare Before Christmas musical, like live action people in costumes and everything. Like to me, that would be
Yeah. Yeah,
that would
Broadway
be
musical I
so.
can't. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you go watch that movie. It is a musical. Like it is a musical. That's why I say I realize it's kind of cheating because yes, it's an animated musical. I just want a live action one that has people in costumes and the stage like production and like. So
It's just the Lion King, just a different story.
yeah, exactly. Because
Justin, are
like
you
I've seen.
aware? Oh, go
Sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say because I've seen like on YouTube and TikTok and stuff. I've seen where they had the original voice actors and stuff on stage singing it and doing it live and in person. So that's where I'm like to have a stage production version of this is totally feasible.
Yes. Are you aware of the stage show that I don't remember if they had one show or they didn't get past the dress rehearsal, but there was a musical after the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man came out. They were doing Spider-Man the musical, which was just the plot of the first Spider-Man, but with songs. I believe that's what it was called. I don't know. Whichever one. This is the one where the guy fell and almost died, and it was okay. Because yeah,
Patrick Page, who was Hades in Hades Town, was yep.
That's Yeah, no, that's totally the opposite of what a Green Lantern show should be. I think we've said this to death, but it should be him doing a beat cop like in space, and you have the different aliens, and
it
instead of wearing a
depends.
cop
Yeah.
outfit, he's wearing the Green Lantern outfit. Like,
Yeah, it kind of depends on what you want your aim to be. If you want an episodic monster of the week thing, then yeah, you do the beat cop in space. If you want a more linear storyline, um, you basically, like I keep saying this, if they're making a movie or a show, really with a show you just drag it out. The first season is just the plot of Green Lantern First Flight.
mm,
It's perfect. It's already been written.
holding on, I'm holding on. All right. That's hilarious.
That doesn't sound like the opposite of Zack Snyder. That sounds like something that Zack Snyder would make. The only difference is that by the end, Superman realizes the utility of killing people instantly. Like, that's
Um, I see. I
but
hadn't
as
heard
long as
that.
it's funny, they'll do it. As long as
I
it's funny, they can kill people.
I hadn't heard that, but what I did see, I don't know how accurate it is, but on my Facebook it floated by where I saw that James Gunn apparently jokingly reached out to uh um fuck, why am I blanking on his name? Deadpool. Um Ryan Reynolds, thank you. Don't know why I'm blanking on that name. He apparently jokingly reached out to him and was like, "So you down to come back and be Green Lantern?" And Ryan Reynolds apparently like laughed and was like, "Fuck off." I'd be willing to give him another shot.
Oh yeah, because he wasn't the problem in that movie.
No,
That that
no,
movie that movie was a script problem.
absolutely. There's a lot of problems in that movie. I don't think Ryan Reynolds was one of them.
No, here's the thing. This is controversial. I didn't hate the suit. I thought it was an
I
interesting idea.
I didn't necessarily hate it. I just thought that it was silly to blow the entire budget on the mask.
Yeah, the mask was dumb, but the suit itself, I
The
mean,
suit
it
itself
is
was
made of
fine.
light. It's made of light.
Yeah. That wasn't quite frankly, the thing that bothered me the most about that movie was Parallax.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, you're, I was gonna say, yeah, that's a real snippet. Because for me, I'm the exact opposite. Wally West is not the Flash. Wally West is Kid Flash. Except for the Justice League cartoon, which for some reason decided they went with Wally West instead of Barry Allen. I think he was in the Superman continuity. Yes, I think he was. Oh yeah, yeah. I think that was. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you're correct.
yeah. Wasn't there a point where the Flash left the DC universe and went right over to the Marvel universe? Like, there's a point in the comics there where I remember the panels where he has like the bottom part of his suit has the same coloring as the Flash, and he's no like he refers to himself as the fastest man in the universe, which is a direct reference to the Flash. And like Yeah, which I love when they are able to do stuff like that. Like that's the fun stuff for me.
Okay. No, you know what? I wanted to, but I did not.
It, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He posted a photo with them in a car together, and I'm just like, this is surreal because to my mind, geekdom is a legitimate like internet, but celebrity. Yeah, either and he's collaborated with Totally Not Mark too, if I'm not mistaken. So I believe so. The Boo Bits only exist because of Totally Not Mark. So here's the problem with his analysis, and I mean it's frustrating because it's simultaneously the best way to do it, but we don't like the answers. He gets most of his information directly from either Toei or Toriyama, and that's frustrating because Toriyama forgets everything, and Toei retcons everything. So it's like, well, um, so like I get why you do it that way, but it's a very unsatisfying answer because it's never consistent.
Hmm. I, I like parts of Super, but on the whole, I think it drops the ball. I very much enjoyed Daima. It was kind of the first time where it felt like they were trying to like they wanted to go back to Dragon Ball and it worked for me. Like it doesn't work for me in GT, for example. I love GT, but the beginning part of it where they're looking for the Dragon Balls and it's literally just Dragon Ball again doesn't work for me in that one because that one literally does just feel like Dragon Ball. They're hunting the Dragon Balls again. He's a kid, yada yada yada. This one, it's like he's going to a different place and he's not specifically looking for the Dragon Balls. It just functions better to me. Plus, unlike I mean, yeah, the fact that they have all like a whole bunch of new voice actors coming in and doing the kid versions, I also there's a novelty there for me, a freshness, I guess I should say. But part of what makes Daima work better for me than Super does, at least I'm going off of the 3 episodes I've seen. I can't speak past that point because I won't watch them until I can watch them in English. But for the first 3 episodes, I appreciate that they don't introduce any new transformations. So there's no like, oh well, why in the end of Z, why don't they turn into Ultra Instinct or Blue or like any of those ones? Like, why don't they refer to Beerus? Like, there's just a lot in Super.
Well, it doesn't. It takes place before Super. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm I'm hoping the English version comes to Netflix because I know that it's going to come to Crunchyroll, but I hate Crunchyroll. Yeah, for Kid Goku. Yeah, yeah. That that made me happy.
See, this is not one for because normally I prefer my anime in Japanese. There are some exceptions, right? Because we talked before about how I'm not even sure for Attack on Titan. I think if the English voice cast had acted better, I would prefer it. But I mean, it's not good. It's really bad acting.
I've watched most of that one. Yeah, it's also just refreshing having that new cast in there because it's not like Sabbath. I have a soft spot for like all of the voices, but they've been doing it forever, like forever, right? So to have a fresh cast come in and have an opportunity to do these roles is just kind of refreshing for me anyway. Meh.
What's with that
No.
look?
Mm,
What do you mean what's that? I hate it. I hate it. Hate it. I hate it. It's so boring. It's so boring.
I will say, as a fan of Lord of the Rings, I still find Randall's description of the trilogy hilarious in Clerks 2.
it's
Even
fairly
even the
accurate.
fucking trees walk in that movie.
um, it's a series where it's like I don't dislike it, but I wouldn't call myself a fan necessarily.
Well, I have a theory on that actually, and I think it was partially inspired by. I watched a video on YouTube where a guy laid this out, and I wish I could remember his name, but I can't because I would like to give him credit for this. And I think he's right. I think there's a reason, and one of the main reasons why, particularly like Gen Z and younger, don't care for Lord of the Rings is because it's 3 2+ hour movies that are nothing but just blatant sincerity.
Yeah.
There's no tongue in cheek. There's no haha, look at this. You know, the whole
Interesting.
thing is everyone being serious, all the characters being emotionally serious. There's nobody's hamming it up. Everybody's playing it straight because it should
Yeah.
be. It's a different kind of story that I think a younger movie going audience, and I'm not sure where the cutoff is, honestly. I say Gen Z because that's what he said in the video. So I'm like, I could see that. Because I mean,
I can
think
see it.
honest question though. When's the last time you saw a film franchise that didn't at least occasionally kind of wink at the camera? Yeah.
Um, yeah, they do it a lot nowadays.
Well, I blame the
Wink.
MCU, honestly, and I get why they did it, and I don't always dislike it in the MCU, but I think the difference is the MCU can have those funny moments, but at the same time, you get, you know, Tom Holland's performance in Infinity War when he's disappearing. You get Iron Man's
Yeah.
departure. You get legitimately serious moments, even with not so serious characters. Even Peter Quill in Guardians. The reason those movies work is because there are moments where they are playing it straight.
Yeah. It definitely strikes a balance a little bit better than some do.
Ugh. Yes, because they didn't have, which is really strange because it was made largely by the same people. They know it works. They know they can do it, and they didn't have the guts to just play it. Which, first of all, that's a single movie. That's not three. Like,
Oh yeah, I mean that those I was gonna say those movies are The Hobbit, and then the second like 1.5 movies are The Silmarillion, just lumped in there.
I I don't know. The animation looks really good, and it does. It looks really good. And the thing of it is, it's a part of which even Tolkien doesn't go that far into the history of Rohan. Like he does and he doesn't. It's mentioned, but there aren't any like there's some in true Tolkien fashion, there's a lot of mentions of like old characters and the appendices lay out how Rohan was created as a state, but or I shouldn't say a state, I guess a kingdom. But you don't really get any like they make reference to the fact that Helm's Deep is a shelter that they've gone to and successfully defended the realm numerous times, which is why Theoden goes there, you know, when Saruman's army is coming.
Mhm.
But I it also has a problem that I typically have with prequel or side story movies in that nothing in this movie will be important, or at least this is what I'm afraid of. Nothing in this movie will be important because we know the ring is eventually destroyed. The shield, but here's what I would say to those people: the Shield Maiden are mentioned by Aragorn and numerous other. So Shield Maidens of Rohan are a thing that are established in the lore. Eowyn is a descendant of them, and Eowyn is the one that kills the Witch King. So it's not like this is coming out of left field. Anybody who calls this movie woke doesn't understand or know the lore, because this is not a thing that's coming out of left field. This is very Tolkien was very much a fan of. Well, okay, so yes and no, because I think for his day, Tolkien was a fan of strong female characters. However, many people criticize him by 2024 standards and like, yeah, but there's really only one, and Arwen just stays and waits. And I'm like, okay, first of all, that's only the Lord of the Rings, and you're completely forgetting about Galadriel and that situation. And then when you go to the Silmarillion, which was really Tolkien's like his big nerdy thing,
Mm.
there's a lot more. There's a lot more. And Tolkien, I mean, he wrote all this stuff, as some of his writings go back as early as 1914, or earlier. So yeah, he was that what inspired the Dead Marshes, among other things. But his propensity to have different kinds of strength, namely, you have masculine strength, a la Aragorn, certain parts of Boromir, and then you have feminine strength, which Galadriel is one of the most powerful people in Middle Earth, but she doesn't. That's why I hated Rings of Power, because they felt the need to give Galadriel a sword and make her a moron to make her seem strong, and that's not what her deal was. It was a different kind of. And magic in Lord of the Rings is hard for newcomers to understand, because it's not like Harry Potter magic. It's not
Yeah.
like distinct spells, distinct this or other. It's more like a force of nature that can be partially wielded by some, and it's kind of mysterious in how it works. Like, for example, and Tolkien did this kind of on purpose too, because he didn't want it to be like a, typical fairy story. So Galadriel doesn't so much cast spells as she does creates a magical barrier around Lothlorien that, unless you know it's there, you kind of are just like kind of veered off, which is how it stays secure.
Mm.
Now, it's not perfect though, because they still have sentries. That's very important. That's how the Fellowship is discovered in the first place, because sentries find them. But Aragorn knows where Lothlorien is, hence his ability to be able to find it. And then Fangorn, I think Fangorn is another. I could be wrong here, so I'm not going to go down that road. But magic is, and then there's the whole. A lot of people that are into Lord of the Rings have not read the Silmarillion, and I don't fault them for that. It's a hard read, and
Um, so
and 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 I
it
don't even think I understand it completely.
it's funny to call back to our earlier Pirates of the Caribbean story. The what you're describing sounds a lot like the Isle of de Muerta, where it's like it's an island that can't be found unless you already know where it is.
Basically, it's very similar. Yeah. But what was I going with the Silmarillion? So there's an element to Silmarillion that really ties in to, believe it or not, Christian theology, because Tolkien and C.S. Lewis were very good friends. And they both have really Lewis a bit more overt Christian themes in his books, but Tolkien. That's why I
Yeah.
get frustrated when people say that Lord of the Rings Satanists. I'm like, clearly you don't. I, Fucking Gandalf gets resurrected, literally.
Gandalf
Spoiler
the
alert for
White.
Lord of the Rings. Yeah, spoiler alert for Lord of the Rings. And the whole theme of Frodo failing in the end to destroy the ring himself, it's out, it's outlined in the
Temptation.
first book. No, it's not about temptation. It's about fate. It's about divine fate. Eru Iluvatar, the creator of the entire universe, already knew what was going to happen, and it
Huh.
was his hand. So when they're in the Mines of Moria and Gandalf talks about there are forces in this world for good or ill that are, like separate from all of this, he's referring to Eru Iluvatar. So basically God in the
Mm.
Christian sense. But the creator, because there are the Valar, which are lesser gods and spirits, and then it's a whole the Silmarillion's confusing.
It gets complicated fast.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they can.
Oh my god,
They
it's woke
can.
or whatever. Ha!
Well, the thing is, they can make it woke, but the premise in and of itself is not. It's not. It's not woke.
See, I mean, yeah, that surprises me. I just saw it and I was kind of like, okay, looks cool, I guess.
Well, and then here's. Oh no, no. See, that's the thing. Maybe, and I'm actually looking because I don't. So the other thing for people who may not be as familiar with Tolkien, Tolkien has quite a few incompetent kings, and throughout it's kind of a thing. Like Isildur is a failed king. Oops. Well, technically a failed prince, but yeah. Oh no, no. Well, I mean, his kingdom falls. Aragorn is a descendant of Isildur, and he's not. He's the rightful king of. I don't want to bore everyone with the details of how the kingdom split, but suffice it to say, the reason Aragorn is heir to the throne of Gondor is because they split the two kingdoms of Gondor and Ainur, which isn't even mentioned in the Lord of the Rings movies. That's why. So some people will be confused as to why Aragorn, being a ranger from the north, is somehow a descendant of Isildur and heir to the throne of Gondor, which is all the way in the south, and it goes into that in the appendices.
So Haley, as a person who doesn't really like Lord of the Rings, at what point did your eyes glass over?
The whole time.
Uh, including us. He has been teasing this for like half a year. That is amazing.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that movie's already been made. Not my. Yeah, there. Oh God, I cannot. I only know of this movie because I walked in on it being watched, and I will say it's legitimately hilarious. But so
Oh,
it's the movie's called Mating Habits of the Earthbound Human. Is it not hilarious? From the perspective of aliens. So they simulate the act of ejaculation by having men in white leotards on a track lined up for a race, and then when it happens, the pistol fires and start running, and then depending upon what form of contraception is used, things happen. For example, when he uses a condom, they all run into a wall. When they use spermicide, there's a guy further down the line with a machine gun who kills them all. And then at one point, how should we say, they're not having traditional sex, and they get to the finish line and they're all just looking around and they don't know where to go. Oh, and there's a not a pole vault. What is that? A high jump
uh,
with a high jump with a target. It's I walked in on the
Sure.
movie
Exactly.
being watched, and the narration intrigued me, and then I saw the first instance of the guys on the line. I'm like, this movie is so stupid, but it's so funny. The McDonald's Treasure Island.
Yeah, yeah. That
This is the
that's
thing.
the three of us. Special.
But I feel like I have to say, and not somebody who's a huge fan of the Muppets, Muppet Treasure Island is a much better movie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There's there's something really off-putting about Ronald McDonald being like, you know, let's sneak past these pirates and find the treasure. It's very off-putting.
I could believe that it was. To be fair, they did also have a Sega game. Really? Interesting.
That should be the origin. That should be the origin story for Art the Clown. Turns out it was Ronald McDonald the whole time.
Well, I mean, we'll eventually get one of those gritty childhood thing, but horror movie version of Ronald McDonald, and he'll basically just be Art the Clown. And throughout the course of that movie, he'll kill a king who's wearing a crown, a girl with red pigtailed hair, girl drinking coffee, which will be Starbucks. It'll be
Bird,
this whole thing. Yeah,
the
bird.
giant grape.
Uh,
Yeah, no, no,
I, w-
no big deal.
I want that belt.
Vote for who you feel is deserving.
Which, as you're here watching our podcast and you're fans of
That's fair.
us,
That's fair enough. That's
is
fair enough.
is clearly us. And 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 for and for best guest, it would definitely part of your Broadway because
Yeah, because that's a
because
solid get. That's a solid get.
that was a good get, and I watched that episode. I did because I genuinely believe it was.
See that. Yeah. I think that would be better.
To be honest, yeah.
Oh, only
Yeah.
only a few
Yeah,
months.
that would be pretty sweet, actually.
Yeah. Joking aside. Uh, every every episode of every podcast starting now.
Ever. Starting now, we.
Yeah. Pick your favorite.
Um, no, I'm a pretty big fan of my most recent episode for the Artie podcast, but random. Well, current events.
Yeah, that was a thing.
That happened.
Oh, I will probably get a good chunk of them wrong, and I lived it.
I don't need multiple choice.
Who do you want? Who do you want to start?
It's Batman Returns.
Mm. Oh, I mean, my first joking guess would be I don't fucking know.
I personally, I'm a big fan of Batman. I don't fucking know. It's one.
It's got to be.
Yeah, the whole
It's
point is
got.
just Christian Bale. Just Christian Bale grabbing a guy going, "Where is he?" And the guy goes, "I don't fucking know." Credits roll.
Fucking no, Batman. God. It's gotta be Batman Returns.
Mm, you just said they were multiple choice. You lied to me.
You lied to us.
You lied to me. You said it was a comedian.
Ac- actor comedian.
See, I'm inclined to say Jim Carrey, but I think you guys have talked about him more and more, so I'm a little. I'm just gonna say Jim Carrey. Yeah. Oh well, Jimmy Kimmel. I I don't know.
I
Oh,
remember
that's
that
right. I
because
remember.
I remember I got very defensive.
I got into a legitimate argument with Virus on that. I'm just like, how? And he lays out his reasoning, and I'm like, but that's wrong. It's like you can say it, but it doesn't make it real. Well, all I know is that
Stirring the pot.
he told me to go watch a movie called My Old Ass. And he said, it's so good, it revolutionizes movies, da 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 da. And I took my girlfriend, and we are both in the theater with basically this face for 80% of it. Yes.
What?
That's a thing that happens.
Okay, okay.
Sounds
I was
awful.
gonna say.
No, she actually goes back in time because see, at first I thought it was an in her head thing because they set it up as drug, which is another reason why the movie is not good because it's very indie-rific. Okay, it has a lot of yeah, but here's the thing though. So they set it up to where you think she doesn't actually go back in time because I don't know the actress's name, but younger Aubrey and older Aubrey are the only ones that interact together. But then at the end, I'm not spoiling this part for you, but in the end, uh, the boyfriend who, okay, I have to say this. This is a guy who allegedly turns a lesbian straight, and I don't believe this man is capable of doing that.
I
But
mean, I mean, no man is capable
I
of
was gonna
that.
say, I was just gonna say, I don't think any man is capable of doing that, but certainly not this one. But he interacts with Aubrey Plaza directly, and I'm like, oh, she's real? That's weird. No, it's not. See, the thing is, it's not good because it falls prey to a common thing with indie directors and writers, insofar as nobody's there to tell them, hey, this part of the story doesn't make any sense. And it happens a
Interesting.
lot. And then there's also, and I don't want this to be taken the wrong way because I don't care, but it's a little jarring because they don't make you aware that the main character is gay until they don't explicitly say it till about halfway through the movie. So, but that's a very important detail for her character. So in the context
Hmm.
of this movie, it matters. Um, you just see a lot of scenes of her like making out and dry humping with other girls, and you're just kind of like, okay, I mean, whatever, but where's the story going? There, it doesn't have anything whatsoever to do with the story until the very end, and because the script is so bad, it feels like a retcon. Like, oh yeah, by the way, this guy coming into her life means more because she's been gay the whole time, as opposed to it organically being placed as a part of her character in the beginning. It all would have meant more, but it also probably would have made the audience be like, bullshit.
Huh.
Oh, I know that one.
Oh.
I was gonna say it rhymes.
Oh, this is bad. I should know this.
I'll go
Doing a
last because I
poo.
know the answer. I'll let
Hold
Haley
on, hold on, hold
Haley
on, hold on.
let Haley give it a
Let
stab
let
too because it
Haley give
does
it a
rhyme.
stab.
A number two, as it were. Ah, the joke will work.
Nope, don't know. Nope.
I'm I'm blanking. I
That would be Joker Folie à deux.
Ah, yeah, yeah, that was it. Yeah, yeah. Damn.
No, there is a movie. Which that was fun to try to explain that, translating it into Spanish. Lady Gaga.
Ah.
That- oh, with the prison guards, you mean? Yeah, I didn't see it as a sexual assault. No, because but here's the thing, for me, film language sometimes does need to be a little bit more literal because to which this just might be partial part of my naivete is I don't see sexual assault unless it's outright stated or shown. And or you can heavily imply it, but like you don't have to show the act itself, but there are many ways in which you can imply strongly. Better than just being beaten. Mm,
Where you draw your line.
Here's what I think. Here's what I think. I think the filmmaker shot that scene in such a way where some people can infer that a sexual assault took place and it still fits within the story, or some people can just infer more police brutality. But my overall problem with that movie is okay, the only well, I mean, but why it's bad. So it does a lot of things that in 2024 would never happen. Now, if they that makes me think it's still an illusion, but not Joker. Virus is of the opinion that at the end of that movie, the movie proves that it's real. Not all of it, but it proves that it was real. See, I'm still of the camp that it's all in his head because, and this sounds like a really minor thing, but it actually points to it. Prisons in 2024, prisons in the 20th century did not use chamber pots in the United States. This is not a thing that would happen. This would be so just illegal in 100 different ways. Whether it's civil rights, along with health code violations, like that prison is in no way, shape, or form, or asylum, either one. It's not a thing that would happen.
I mean,
Well, no, but
there there's also just the fact that I didn't watch this one, but there's also just the fact that the first one sets up the fact that the Joker's memory and the Joker's telling of a story is not reliable. He makes things up and tells things that aren't true in the first one. So it's absolutely believable that he, the character, would do the same thing in the second one.
yeah, that's where I'm at.
Right.
There's that.
Um but yeah, so
Yeah.
fun behind the scenes thing though. There's a lot of times Justin will make bad jokes like doing a poo, and years of living with the man has just trained me to tune certain things out. Uh, that's an example of one of those where my brain just tunes certain things out.
It's okay. I appreciate it. Hmm. I don't know, so I'm gonna say the Blair Witch Project for 500.
I believe it's searching.
I'm gonna go with Blair Witch Project 2.
Aw, damn. Who'd have thought? Oh, okay, okay. Oh, okay, okay. I remember seeing a trailer for that. It's
I
so
I
I'm really averse to avant-garde cinematography like that, but I'm warming up to it. Honestly, what warmed me up to it was 1917, which is not super avant-garde, but you know what I mean.
I describe this as a I describe this one as a modern tale version of found footage, like because
Yeah.
it's via the webcams and stuff like that. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a very good one. Yeah. No.
Speaking of just your penchant for calling things, it's currently uploading right now, the Conscience of the King episode that we did for the Final Frontier. You're going you're going to love some of the edits. You're going to love it. Oh, Fogel's "I Got a Boner" audio comes back.
Fucking no.
This will be
Rather
fun.
because I don't want to offend people.
19,
You won't
1992.
for who?
One of you, one of the Spurs, that guy, the one with the glasses.
Uh, I was born in 91.
Fuck. Well, what'd you make me pick? I was wrong either way.
because it was funny. It would have been very funny if you had said, "Yeah, Justin, you just something about you. You look younger for some reason." Jordan, you're old and bitter.
He's a grizzled vet. He is.
um,
Oh, he is.
wh- do you want the character name or the actor name? William Shatner, Captain T. Tiberius Kirk.
It was. It was in episode.
Moist.
Hang on. How did we make a mistake? Oh, okay, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because the pilots were out of order. Yeah, it's episode 2, Space Strippers.
He's a very moist man.
Still to this day is our best episode too. See, but I was worried that YouTube would actually kind of
YouTubing
blacklist it.
strippers?
That would be Art the Clown.
It's yeah, it's
Yeah.
No, I totally get it as someone who hasn't even seen the movies, but I've seen the talk around him and some of the like edited clips, yeah. And it's the fact that he made the slasher at least somewhat scary again.
upsetting. Definitely made it
Yeah, yeah.
upsetting.
Well, and that's not even a particular. So I'm weird. I don't like Scream. I did not enjoy Scream at all. I like the concept, but making every single person that wears that damn mask just a complete idiot who can't even run. Like I remember because I sat down to watch the first one. I'm like, you know what? I need to give this a chance because there's obviously something to it. Opening scene where Drew Barrymore's the first victim, and the first thing she does when he reveals himself is she smashes his face with something. I don't remember what it is, and it's just like, yeah, a vase or something like that. And I'm just like, okay, like okay, because in other slasher franchises, they at least have this sort of like supernatural aura where my first instinct is like grab a 12 gauge and blow his fucking head off, right? Yes, but you can make the argument that there's some sort of supernatural element to those characters. You can't do that with Ghostface because the whole point is that these are people. So, and I'm sorry, Scream takes place in California, right? I'm not mistaken. Okay, that's the only reason nobody like that movie cannot happen in Texas, or basically it can't happen south of the Mason-Dixon line because, but they're not. But he's demonstrably not because people hit him with things. Yeah, I know that's my but that's my beef with it. So yeah, set Scream in Texas. That movie lasts 10 seconds. Yeah. I'll give credit where credit's due. At least it was different. I don't enjoy it, but at least it was different. And I can't say it's bad. It just doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. Oh, I remember this because we actually we're due for a debate on that.
Yeah, I haven't watched this since then, so
Oh, this might have to be a whole episode in and of itself. I want to. Oh, Jordan.
Jake can go first.
I was gonna say I just for some reason I want to say Predator, the Predator movies.
I am gonna go with Indiana Jones.
Wait, you mean back when? You,
Now we
Yeah,
try. Now we try not to do that. Sorry, what was that? What was that, Haley?
I was gonna say is like, and you all know my answer. I don't fucking know.
Oh, is this one?
Terminator.
I'm pretty sure it was RoboCop. Yeah, part of the television show, which was not very good. Well, it was as good as the third one. So if you like that sanitized version, then it was just kind of more of that.
Did we ever get an answer? Did we ever get an answer as to whether RoboCop has to adhere to the laws of robotics? Yeah, but he's still part human. He's still got like the lower face.
Yeah, but and well, the fourth one was the secret hidden. You can't go against Omnicorp's people at the top. I don't remember what the third one was. But so to answer your question, yes, I guess those would technically be the laws of robotic or their version of it.
Which one?
I Nick, Nick's the third option. That definitely it was not. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's the Batman one.
I think it's the end of the world as we know it.
I was pretty sure that it was that one because that one was a long one. But I was I was gonna say technically the longest one we've ever done with Jake was on Jake's channel.
We're we're going for the title though, Justin. Which I mean, Jordan's invited, of course, but like we've already talked about this. What were the choices again? I'm gonna go with in the hot seat for 1,000.
I wish that I could say that it was Spur time because that's hilarious. It was book report. We started off as book report, and then you made the in one of the episodes I made the joke about its general media analysis, the most clinical name I could think of.
Spur time.
Spur time. That's hilarious.
It was on the Sabbath.
It was December 8th, wasn't it? See, I was only able to guess as many as I did because you gave multiple choice options, and that helps me on any quiz.
My answers were I don't fucking know. So
I mean, that's fair. Uh, sure. Okay, I will follow your lead. Okay. So this was one that Justin did near the very beginning when he did his Indiana Jones. It was Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Um, Decent movie. I think all of the Indiana Jones movies are of relative quality. I've never been the biggest Indiana Jones fan. I do think this one had a real missed opportunity to have some callbacks to previous scenes from previous movies, considering this one has time travel. Um, but it's fine. It's
I have not yet.
no.
Generally, yes, except I hated the fourth one.
most people do.
Well, Virus didn't hate the fourth one, if that gives you any indication. But
Okay. So this is where I'm gonna say again. I think they're all of relative quality. So I don't particularly think the fourth one is any worse than the other three. I think it's as bad as the other three, personally. Just like I think this one is as bad as the other three. They're all absurd things about Indiana Jones finding strange mystical things that are weird. An alien's head is just as weird as a magical time traveling device thing, or the what was it? The heart of Kalima, whatever that one was.
the Temple of Doom.
Yep, that was the one. Oh, for Dial of Destiny, you mean? Yeah, they didn't want to bring Shia. I guess maybe if Jake wants to watch this, I'll try to reduce how many details I give. But yeah, they don't want to bring him back, and yet they reference his son. Yeah, I mean it has a couple scenes in the beginning. It's not that bad. And as far as I'm concerned, if they were gonna do that, then you might as well have some terrible DH scenes of him running into past versions of himself in like from the different movies. If you were gonna do it anyway, you might as well lean into it. It's as good as the other four. Chitty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang. We love you,
Chitty
or
chitty
at least
bang
heard of
bang.
it. Yeah,
I
when you
sure
said
don't
that
hate
to
that.
me,
I was just to say, I sure don't hate that.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, I was gonna say it explained the child catcher.
Snatcher.
Which I believe I pointed out the first time I watched it. Yep. The old bamboo. Yeah, the character, yeah. Steel and the evolution of the song as the other dancers are like, "Hey, we don't know you, but you fit in, so you're making us money. We're appreciating you. You're doing a good job." Truly scrumptious. Truly scrumptious.
Hey, but Toot Sweet is stellar wordplay.
Oh yeah, there was a thing that was a thing that I remember watching it last time, which I never picked up on it the first time. Where it's like, yeah, I as a kid I never realized that the little house he was going into was an outhouse, and him going on his adventures was, taking
Him
care of
doing a
taking care of
him doing
business,
a
as it were.
him doing a Joker too. Is Haley frozen or bored?
I'm just bored.
Um,
Both, both actually, because your video is frozen.
Love Chi Chi Bang Bang. I just love it so much.
I appreciate Jim Carrey's rendition of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
I don't
Chitty
think I've
Bang Bang,
seen that.
yeah!
I
Oh,
don't
and
think I've seen that.
Ace Ventura 2, When Nature Calls. I just love the ending. Is like Chitty Bang Bang, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Chitty Bang Bang, yeah! And then he starts.
I agree.
I love that. um, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
All of Bavaria or whatever, but Bavaria, yeah. Um, is it just a fictional story that he told, so it means nothing. Oh, okay. I guess we'll move ahead to Waitress the musical then. Um, um, it was a musical about a waitress. Uh, I don't know. It was fine, I guess. As a straight white male who's never been married, I find it hard to, or pregnant, I find it hard to relate to a story about a pregnant single waitress who's being beaten by her husband. Um, it seemed
what are
like it
you,
did a bit.
heartless?
I don't
Oh
know.
my god.
Apparently, um, it yeah, it was okay.
This
I
is I
I
yeah.
kind of I just I don't know. I'm trying to find a tactful way to say this. Um, I don't think cheating is okay under any context. Um, so that aspect of it kind of bothered me a little bit, quite
But
frankly.
but hear me out. What if he's really hot? Like we're talking just like perfect 10 dreamboat, but he's dorky enough to be safe, you know.
That
I
I
mean,
mean, I can understand being attracted while you're married, but leave your husband and then pursue.
but if
But
you
the
do,
whole
he'll hit you in the face.
Yeah,
but the whole
I
thing
mean,
but the whole thing about the musical, the whole preface of the musical is like she can't. She's trapped in that marriage.
Yeah, I it's a hard
What's that? I have no idea what happens in Waitress the Musical. I'm assuming
What?
based upon what you've told
Jake?
me, I'm assuming that it's about a waitress whose husband hits her and she falls in love with another man and eventually leaves him after she gets that plucky gumption that that she
No.
needed the whole time.
No.
Okay, well, I'm about as good as Justin guessing
I
the plots
can.
of Star Trek episodes based on their titles.
May
it's fairly
I?
close.
You may, please.
May I? It's about it's about a waitress, but and her husband's I don't know if I would say alcoholic, cause
I
yeah,
mean, I would just call him a piece of shit,
yeah,
but that's me.
basically,
A
yeah.
piece of shit that drinks.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he hits his wife all the damn time. She thinks she's stuck. She ends up getting pregnant by said guy because they both, I guess,
Well, you see, when a man and a woman love each other,
no, when like because there's a line extra. There's an extra line in the musical. It's like I do stupid things when I drink. So they both drank and she got pregnant, and so that's why she thinks. Yeah, she accidentally sleeps with her husband, and then so that's why in my perspective, I think that's why she thinks that she's stuck.
ah,
Yeah, yeah, yep.
You don't, yeah, you make it work, you don't leave your husband, you stick with the situation you're with. I get it, and that's where I say, as a straight white male, I'm never gonna be in that position. So it's
And
hard for me to really put myself there.
I'd like to also mention
somebody.
though that she falls in love with her doctor.
I mean, go for it.
Yeah, no, that was like, seriously? Like, after all of that, they don't end up together? I just, it kind of it bothered me.
Well, he wasn't in her insurance network.
Definitely, that's why.
It's
Yeah,
like, oh, I'm
The
overall,
Mart.
significant the ending is but it signifies the fact that she can do it on her own though.
yes,
You don't
yeah,
need anybody.
and
Nobody.
I, I, I understand. I see what they're doing. I think the ending is cute. I thought I noticed a thing that Justin didn't notice, which the friend was also now pregnant. Like,
Yep.
that's cute to me. I get it. It just doesn't. I don't know. You have this whole plot line of her cheating and being with the doctor, and it's just the fact that they didn't end up together. All of my storytelling tropes are like, oh, the happy ending is she ends up with the nice guy that didn't treat her like shit, and then he helps her raise the kid, and he's there for her, and that's to me, that's my happy ending.
No, the actual happy ending is she can do it on her own because nobody needs a man.
I mean, yeah,
I
that's
mean,
fair.
sometimes I do. Like, I can't change oil for shit.
I
It's
can't
one of
do
those
either.
things where, like, I can, but it's not pretty. There's a lot of swearing.
And the dirty clothes.
Yeah, that just comes with the territory. I'm not ashamed to admit that sometimes I need a man.
Um, but yeah, alright, it's fine. It was okay. I've watched last week I watched two musicals, and I'm not ashamed to say I liked those more. Um, I certainly related to those more. I guess. I don't know. I'm right. That's just very relatable. That is it for Waitress the musical.
Be sure to tip your waitress. Oh boy. It's one of those things where I knew it was going to be bad, but when I tell you that this movie exceeded my expectations exponentially, like
I remember it being bad.
I have. I have, and this movie it this is the one with Emma Watson in it, right?
yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah, he very
Uh,
much turns into Nappa from DBZ Abridged there for a minute. It's just stab the baby.
stab the baby.
The Emma Watson part where I don't know what uh, I I can't explain what that scene was like. It was like of her. I don't know if it was her being technically assaulted or like by somebody. I can't remember that scene. Yeah. 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 Oof.
Yes.
Yeah, that scene kind of made me feel uncomfortable in a way.
He's not doing it right.
I I
Well,
remember
that was
that.
that was very much my reaction because the thing of it is like I actually I know my Bible fairly well, but I'm watching this movie and I'm like I don't remember the Rock Angels at all. Yes. Yes. Hang on.
He's pulling the book. The book.
Let's see. Oh, right. Open right up to Cain murders Abel. Great. See, bore Cain, but produce bore Abel, not able to keep
And the Lord said, "Murder your brother. Do it. Do it now with that knife sitting on the ground."
Does not say. Oh, hang on, hang on, hang on. Father, son, likeness, corners. Yes. Adam. Adam had a son, Seth, when he was 100. Yeah, so he when he was 130.
You've heard of Adam and Eve. Now watch as Hollywood brings you Adam and Steve. Coming soon to a theater near you.
That's just
Adam and
Brokeback Mountain.
Steve.
They made that
Brokeback
movie
Mountain.
already. Hey, and I actually love that movie. So before everybody hates me in the comments, I love Brokeback Mountain. I think it's a phenomenal film.
That's funny.
It's not necessarily a family picture, but so I believe what I said in in the episode we're talking about is this had, because this is clearly not the story of Noah. Like, it's not. It's not. If they had marketed this as a sci-fi adventure on a distant planet, not terrible. A little weird. I mean, he's not as funny as Javert, Russell Crowe, but
Shut
Yeah.
up. No, he's not.
Here. Okay, so there's the thing. Haley, did you? I sent you a video a couple days ago. I don't know if you've had a chance to watch it yet. It's kind of long.
I haven't watched it yet. I haven't
Okay,
got a chance.
you'll appreciate it. But that same channel goes through the music of Les Miserables, and the point he keeps making is that it's very frustrating because these people are not miscast. They are misdirected, and the music is done so woefully bad that it's honestly not their fault. Hugh Jackman dehydrated himself for 3 days to get that appearance, and that's why he sounds like garbage.
Didn't he also not eat either?
Well,
Yeah. And but the dehydration's a big thing. And here's the other thing: Russell Crowe can sing.
see, that's what's funny
inexplicable.
is in the episode where I did Les Mis, I believe, I called out the fact that people gave Russell Crowe shit for his singing in that one for years, and I think a lot of the rhythms in that movie aren't done well by plenty of other of the people, not just Russell Crowe, and I don't think it comes down to talent. I don't necessarily like for example I mean Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe is not a bad singer. It's just a lot of the rhythms in that song aren't the way they should be, and that makes it
Right.
seem worse than it is.
The problem is that and they did the same thing in Cats, Haley, which is why I sent you that video. It's not just the cat human hybrids being nightmare fuel, and it's the same director too. So it's actually the same problem. The problem is, and this is why Wicked succeeds, because when you're doing, you can do live singing, but the vocalists don't dictate the pace of the song. When they were doing Les Miserables and Cats, that's what they did. They let the actors set the pace of the music, and the orchestra had to somehow, some way figure out how to make it work. When he points this out in the video, you'll notice the best performances in Cats are done by dancers, because they're the ones that say, "Nope, just give me the metronome and I'll go based on that."
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, here's a fun fact for you though, and this is very interesting. He points Sideways is the name of the YouTube channel. If you're a music nerd, I highly recommend. You'll love it. You'll love it. The thing is, and he points this out in the video, is right when if you're watching it for the first time, right when you start to lose all hope, the trifecta of perfection come into the story. Those being Eddie Redmayne, Amanda Seyfried, and oh God, what's her name? I know her name. She's so good. Eponine. Who plays Eponine?
Samantha Barks.
Samantha Barks. They all three of those characters, every number that they're in, they're performing live as well. And Eddie Redmayne doesn't have a ton of singing experience in that movie. But you know what the secret was? They said, "Give me the orchestral track and I will follow along with that. I will let that pace me. And Eddie Redmayne talks about how, like, yeah, you can make some acting decisions in the moment, but you have to, he doesn't say this, but he kind of alludes to it because he doesn't actually know what it is, but you have to adhere to the stolen time rule. So an actor can play with the lyrical beats of a song, but if you like, let's say you extend a lyric not 3 seconds, that's a really long time. Let's say you extend a lyric like a tenth of a second here, you have to shorten another one so as to not get off beat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's well, and the funny part that he points out is the moment where Hugh Jackman is tearing up his parole slip.
Yeah.
The tearing of the paper is supposed to coincide with the orchestral crescendos. And in the movie, because he's not following along to the orchestral track, they're not in sync with each other. So it not only it feels weird, that's why it feels weird. And it also seems really random that he's tearing the paper that way when it's on stage. There's supposed to be these big orchestral crashes when he does that. It's part of the music.
Yeah, see, that explains a lot. And because that's what I've said for years with that is it's like it's not their talent. Like Hugh Jackman
No.
is absolutely a talented singer. It's like there was a now you've defined it for me. There was a thing that was wrong with it that was hard for me to put to words, and clearly that's it.
Jean Valjean is absolutely not a low register. I mean he sang it as per the arrangement.
Hmm. Well, here's another reason why Wicked works way better than Les Mis. Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo were on Broadway and they did Broadway, so it's like of course that's gonna work more because they know how to do that.
I don't think he did Broadway, but and see here's the other thing too. So probably the biggest crime to me because my favorite number from that show is I Dreamed a Dream, and it always perplexes me when and I'm not dogging on Anne Hathaway because she can sing it. She's sung it before in a live performance and it was great. But in the movie, you can't praise her because okay, every moment in that song where there's supposed to be a big, musical crescendo, she can't do it because she's too busy crying and she can't get the air she needs. So instead of her holding out a strong belted note, she's just doing this weird hyperventilating thing because she can't breathe. You can do it, you just have to work within the arrangement. And I've seen it done extremely well. West Side Story does a great job because not all of those were performed live, but some were. Um, and the thing is, you have to follow the music because musical theater basically emotionally works like this. You speak all the lines until the emotion is so great that you start to sing. And then you sing until the emotions are so great that you start to dance.
Yeah.
And there's ebbs and flows and all this. But what Les Mis, and actually Cats is worse than this, but what Les Mis does so many times in that musical is it breaks that flow because the actors want to make certain choices, but that makes sense in a non-musical film, but make absolutely no sense because there's a different emotional range in a musical.
Mm-hmm.
It's just completely different.
Now, mhm. I will say from the Les Mis movie musical, I do like the At the End of the Day. I like their version, their rendition of that song.
Yeah, you'll find a lot of the ensemble numbers are done really well because it's just a bunch of, you know, people that have performed on stage before doing what they've done on stage just in front of a camera. And yeah, multiple times, but still they're keeping to the track. They're keeping to the
Yeah,
arrangement.
yeah. It's it or to put it in non-musical basic terms, it sounds right. um yeah. What's that one called? Di- May I go?
He's quite good in that performance.
I don't mind them.
I do. I really Eddie Redmayne was a big surprise for me
Mm.
when I watched that movie because I was like, oh, okay.
Fun fact. Fun fact. I was gonna say fun fact. Gaten Matarazzo, who plays Dustin in Stranger Things, was in Les Mis on Broadway in 2012.
Oh yeah. Huh, interesting.
He's the kid
Oh,
who dies. Yeah.
interesting. Huh, interesting. Uh, blah, 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 blah. So I watched two Charlie Brown movies, which I'm just going to combine into one segment here. Snoopy Come Home and Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown. Snoopy Come Home, which is funny, it's described on Wikipedia as an animated musical comedy drama. I wouldn't have considered it a musical. Um, it has music in it, but I wouldn't consider it a musical, personally. One's that one, Race for Your Life, is not described as a musical. Um, but they're both fun. They're both cute. I will say, Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown, Peppermint Patty is a psychopath. Um, Sociopath. Okay, sorry. Point is that she's perfectly willing to let the boys freeze out in the snow while her and her girls sleep comfortably in the cabin that Charlie Brown and the guys found. Um, they're both fun. They're both cute, and I have nostalgia for both.
I'm not.
No, you're annoying little shits. All of them are
Boo!
annoying little shits. Don't get me
Boo!
started.
Boo! I like them. I think they're cute. It holds up surprisingly well considering Snoopy Come Home was made in 1972 and Race for Your Life was made in 1977. Like they hold up fairly well.
I will take that back. Not all of them are annoying little shits. Lucy on one hand though is an annoying little bitch that
Yeah,
keeps
that,
messing with Charlie Brown.
that's fair.
Well, you know what? That kid deserves
I
it.
can get behind that.
Good.
Snoopy
Good.
boxes with her, Justin. You need to make it. It's boop boop boop, and she tries to beat up a dog.
Oh,
She
she's the former governor of South Dakota.
She
Okay, fair,
boxes
fair,
him
fair.
with
tried
boxing
to
gloves.
Okay.
punch the Snoopy, and it's like,
Well,
so
Lucy is a
you're
child. Maybe we've just seen into the future.
I mean, yeah, this was in 1970. What did I say? 1972. 1972. So you know,
Well, Lucy grows up to be a homicidal animal killer. And it's all because Snoopy punched her in the face that one time.
It all makes sense now. That's Snoopy.
Yes,
Oh, yes.
I love it.
I believe I, I believe the statement was more about the first one, not so much the second one, but go on.
See, ironically, I think you can make a better case for the second one because the first one is inextricably a Christmas movie.
Mhm.
Nah, not in the same way. I mean, judging from American television, I would say that it might be because there's episodes of like King of the Hill and stuff where they get stuck for Thanksgiving at airports.
Culturally, yes, it's not universal, but generally speaking, I would say yes. But I mean, I'm not failing to connect the dots here. What about Thanksgiving? I don't. Oh, no. They're visiting the dad's brother for Christmas. Oh, okay, I see.
That was that was always my point.
I think that depends on your perspective, but I mean, okay, hang on, let me think, because there's a good example here somewhere. I just have to find it. So basically, I want to make sure I understand your argument. You're saying that just because the inciting incident you could make the argument that the inciting incident could have taken place any time of year is the basis for your.
basically, basically, it has the trimmings of Christmas. It has Christmas stuff in there specifically so people go like it's a Christmas movie. But the thing
Okay,
that sets off the movie could take place at a different point of the year.
okay. So to counter your argument, I would say, would you consider A Christmas Carol a Christmas movie? Any of the
I
versions, it doesn't matter. Okay, but the inciting incident is Ebenezer Scrooge being visited by three spirits that are not inherently tied to Christmas. Mm, okay, fair enough. I'll think of another example. Okay, okay, yeah, Elf is a Christmas movie because it takes place in Santa's workshop. I'll find one, damn it. Well, it's hard. It's hard because it's a point that I can understand why he's making it, but I don't agree with it. So it's kind of hard to it's hard to argue it because like I think the inherent premise is not it's not one that I agree with. So it's kind of like I disagree with it on its face because my point is Home Alone takes place at Christmas while the inciting incident may not be Christmas related. Virtually everything that happens afterward is.
I think I might have one.
There you go.
Die Hard. What about Die Hard? People think that's a Christmas movie. It doesn't take any place at all.
no, no, I don't consider that to be a Christmas movie
Uh,
either. That's a movie that
just
takes place on
so
Christmas.
I
It doesn't make it a Christmas movie.
so I do only because Bruce Willis came out and said it wasn't, and I just want to disagree with Bruce Willis. That is my logic.
That's fair.
My sister met him once. Yeah.
How'd that go?
It was either him or Stumped Double. I can't remember. But we were in New Orleans. It was like 2012, and we were in New Orleans visiting my brother who lived there at the time, and we were walking and walked by Bruce Willis, and he stopped and took a picture with my sister. Yeah.
Cool.
It was for
Also
the
in
movie Red.
Oh, okay, interesting. Also, in your defense, Jake, a large part of why I make the argument is purely to be a shit disturber because I know it bugs people when I say it.
Fair enough. I mean, it bugged me.
I can see both sides, but I think the fact
Okay,
that
okay,
I think the fact that I can make the argument at all is fun.
okay. I've got one for you. Has anyone here seen The Holiday?
I don't
Yes.
think so.
Yep. So I consider that a Christmas movie, but by virtue of Justin's logic, and I mean it's called The Holiday, right? But by virtue of Justin's logic, it would not technically Jordan's logic, not Justin's logic. It would technically not be a Christmas movie because the events in that movie could take place theoretically any time of the year for a number of different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
See, I think what you have is an example of where you have like three major criteria, two of which must be met because there's a wide variety of Christmas movies. I think the film has to take place at Christmas. Christmas has to be integral to the plot or happenings of the movie, i.e., the fact that it's Christmas influences what happens in the story, or yeah. Well, and it's also why, a lot of people are out of town, so the wet bandits are targeting those houses because they know people are out of town for Christmas. They've done all the research, da, da, da. They use the automatic light timers as indication as such, that kind of stuff. And then I
And
don't know what the third criteria would be. I'd have to think on that.
this is where
So,
where Justin's question of how big is Thanksgiving in America though kind of comes in because like theoretically if everyone is leaving their houses to go visit family for Thanksgiving, the wet bandits are still seeing empty houses that are on timer, right? Like it can be transferred to another holiday.
sure, but I guess my point is it's like yes, that's true, but there are elements of the story that only influence the story because it's Christmas. And Home Alone 2, for example, well, hang on. Does Kevin run into trouble when he goes to Rockefeller Plaza? I can't remember. It's been a minute since I've seen that
It's
movie.
been a bit since I've seen the second one.
Okay, a better example would be Kevin sticking up for the toy store. That happens because it's Christmas.
Yeah, to
that
be fair, that's why I said I do believe I did say my argument is more for the first one than it is the second one.
So
But it's also
Oh,
been a
sorry,
bit
go ahead.
since I watched. I was gonna say it's also been a bit since I've watched the first one, so I'm making arguments that I made like a year ago off of memory.
Yeah. Here's probably the best example of the fact that it's Christmas being very important is the fact that if it was not Christmas, Kevin does not live to the end of that film because the only reason the neighbor comes over is because Kevin chats with him at the Christmas concert at the church.
Oh, I mean,
No.
no, he might not go for a Thanksgiving pageant, but maybe instead you make it where it takes place on a Sunday and he's going for church. He's just there for church.
Oh, but his granddaughter's performing at the Christmas concert specifically.
Yeah,
I'm saying if you so the concept of Home Alone does not
that's true.
necessarily have to be a Christmas movie, because if you change certain, like that movie, if you change certain things around, that movie could be held over 4th of July weekend. It actually might have been slightly more entertaining. But the fact that it's a
Hmm.
Christmas movie because it takes place at Christmas, and it has a lot of Christmassy themes to it. Like it's about appreciating family, even though they're not always all that great. It's about, selflessness to a point. Kevin learns. Yeah, his family does suck, and the thing is, like, Kevin is completely justified in hating Buzz. I've
Oh,
always
absolutely,
that's a hill
absolutely.
I will die on.
I will.
Probably probably because of Home Alone, but well, he's being a little jerk.
I mean,
Look what
yeah,
you did, you little jerk.
you little jerk.
Would you prefer? Yeah. Have you been around many children? Yeah. Your perspective on that changes after you're around them for more than 8 hours.
That's fair.
Cops can
Hey,
have gold teeth.
maybe maybe get a tooth cap to cover up that gold teeth tooth.
Maybe paint it black so it looks like it's missing.
Yes, that is definitely the thing you should do.
Get a black gold tooth so that it just looks like you're missing one, because that's not something that people would do ever. I think it's more than petty theft. I mean, they're stealing presumably a lot of shit.
That's also true. My next one was Jetsons the movie, which, as a side note, when I looked it up on our streaming service, um I looked up like a Jetsons the movie The Jetsons or something like that. The way that I looked it up, it didn't originally show up is the point. And I was like, what the heck? I know this is on this streaming service. And so then I had to go and look it up and it's like, no, sure enough it is. And then I typed it in right and I was like, oh, good. But I love this movie. Um it's really good and it's really cute. And it comes from a time when they understood that animated movie about a TV show should raise the stakes and be different than just another episode of the show. Um, and this one really did that. I mean, the musical numbers are cute. Um, the yeah, yeah, the voice of
Judy Wonder.
Judy, the voice actors, yeah, A- and Judy. Um, the part in that movie that makes me kind of laugh though, and this is just something that I thought of when I watched it this time, is the very beginning, when Rosie is using the remote to raise the building up higher to wake up George Jetson, and I'm just like, man, I'd be kind of irritated if I was in one of the many other apartments that's in that building that she just decided to raise it up. Like, why does she have controls for the entire building? It's cute.
I have not. I was never a big fan of the Jetsons.
love the
Which
Flintstones
Flintstones
movies.
movie?
John Goodman.
I actually like for what it is. Oh, I was young. I was young.
I was young. I think that's why I love that movie.
It evolved. It evolved, and then even when I was a kid, I loved the joke about concrete being made for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna name it after my daughter, Concretia. Although I do call bullshit on Fred Flintstone passing on the legitimate promotion that would have made him significantly richer as an individual. Because I'm sorry, you would have been the executive that invented concrete. Like, you're a fucking idiot, Fred Flintstone. Which I guess is the point.
Oh yeah.
Well, Rick Moranis as Barney is not exactly bad. He nails the voice. Rick Moranis is a national treasure for Canada. So
I'm trying to think of who played Wilma and who were the actresses who played Wilma and Betty.
Betty was played by Rosie O'Donnell.
Rosie O'Donnell. Oh, that's where I know. I knew her from. Hmm.
Is that her?
And she was in.
Oh, in the sequel, Viva Rock Vegas.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she
Kirsten
was.
Johnston is
Yep. She was
If
in my
I
sitcom. That
if I
like.
have the right one, it's Elizabeth Perkins.
Mm-mm.
Elizabeth Perkins. She was in Big, Miracle on 34th Street, Weeds, About Last Night. I don't know any of these. I
I have
have.
not.
No.
I have not.
Basically, if you're ever interested in seeing Robin Williams take the energy that he usually projects outward and turn it inwards, that's the movie to watch.
Right.
Junk.
But fun fact, I didn't work in the photo lab, but I worked next to it when I worked at Walmart, and I would constantly, because a friend of mine worked in the photo lab, and I'd fairly regularly would be brought over and be like, check this shit out. So yes, they are in fact, and we had a this was I want to stress that it's a different policy today, but this was a time where I forget, this would have been around 2005, 2006 ish, when digital photographs had just started becoming like mainstream, but people would still go and get them developed, and then people still had film as well. So we had a bunch of different kinds of prints. And Walmart's policy with nudity at the time, at least very briefly, was assuming adults, right? Because the policy was, because there's weird things about people taking photos of their children in bathtubs and whatnot, and the standing policy was do not develop those. But with adult nudity, it basically came down to whether or not the technician was comfortable with it. So
Really?
there were a lot of really awkward conversations that I was witness to, of somebody explaining that poor bastard, saying, "Listen, we didn't develop your photos because they are of you and your partner um, in naked." Well, okay, so I want to be very clear about something, because this is a discussion I've had with some people, and I fall in the camp of just don't take pictures of your photo. I mean, don't take pictures of your children in positions like that. Just don't do it.
No.
I can think of no justification as to why. Um, However, if you feel inclined to do so, to share with family members and such, a photo framing class and learn how to do it, tastefully. And obviously, don't put them on the internet. Don't do it.
No.
Mine too.
No. No. That would be awful.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I didn't get to say my soapbox bit. Um, I, I don't want that to be misconstrued. That's something that I don't consider that to be pornographic, but I do consider it to be like questionable in the sense, not, how do I word this? It's not something you should do, but at the same time, it's not. I wouldn't label it pornographic, but and thankfully photo labs are not a thing anymore, because my policy with that would be is like, if you must do this, don't take them to get developed and put another person who didn't ask for that to be in that position, because it's just not something. It's something that none of us wanted to do ever, and I didn't work in the photo lab, so thankfully I never had to experience that. But I knew people that are like, oh god damn it, somebody brought in fucking pictures of their kids in the bath again, and now I have to have this really awkward conversation. You know,
Ugh.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what's always been that's what's always been perplexing to me, is like, I've never understood. And granted, I don't have children, but I've never understood the compulsion to do this. I'm just kind of like, yeah, this right here, we're gonna keep this. We're gonna keep this to ourselves.
This can be
Yeah.
a just us moment. Live in the moment. My next one was one when we did a classic horror villain, Frankenstein for you, and I did Dracula. And so this one is Victor Frankenstein, with Daniel Radcliffe, James McAvoy, and the rest. Um, and the others who aren't really as important. I liked this movie. I had never seen this one before. Um, It was a interesting take on the Frankenstein story. I thought Daniel Radcliffe and James McAvoy both did a very good job in this movie. Um, and overall, I enjoyed it.
I have not, but I want to.
I recommend it. I think it's a very good movie from Igor's perspective. I think he's Igor in that one. He's, yeah, I don't want if you want to see it, we won't spoil anything.
But does the hunch move?
The hunch the hunch doesn't exist for very long.
Hmm. Wait,
He's
so it's
he's
taming
basically
of the
sorry, go ahead.
shrew Frankenstein? Huh, so you can
Um,
still do putting on the Ritz in that movie.
he's basically described as Frankenstein's first creation.
Hmm.
It's fun. It's fun. It's on Disney Plus, so if you have Disney Plus, there's no
Wait,
reason
it's not.
not to check it
I'm
out.
sorry. It's not Taming of the Shrew. It's My Fair Lady, not Taming of the Shrew. Well, no, taming. Yeah, but Taming of the Shrew. Yeah. Yeah. That's Taming of the Shrew is about lying to a woman about love. Yeah. Well, either way, money's involved. Well, buying her time, not necessarily her.
That was it for Frick to Frankenstein.
I have not.
Mm-mm.
Which one?
Yes.
Yes. I don't know why I said which one.
Okay. Uh, well, Troll 2 is getting cut.
Cut stuff, but we'll talk about this too.
Or okay, I'll cut Warrior.
Wait, hang on. Which warrior?
Uh, the 2011 Tom Hardy Joel Edgerton one.
Ooh, that's such a good one.
Or I can cut Batman Returns.
There we go. We've already discussed it.
Yeah. All right, we're cutting
I've never
Batman
seen it.
Returns.
So I have an answer. So I have an answer to that, actually. There's a number of reasons why one would do that. It depends on the prestige of the place. Um, I would say in the case of that film, probably nostalgia, because I'm guessing her mother probably went there. Yeah, but sometimes you have to invent your own headcanon to make it make sense. Yes. Yeah, but no, there's actually, believe it or not, in Indiana, there's an international military academy that has a summer camp program, and people from all over the world go. You think? I'm very excited for her resurgence. Um,
Mm.
mhm.
Yeah, it's actually pretty impressive. This
Okay, yeah, yep,
the
yep.
the soon to be stepmom.
Ah,
It's supposed to be a direct reference.
yeah, I buy that.
It's believable. It works.
No.
So so what's funny? Okay, this movie is really bad for one thing. It gives The Room a run for its money as like one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But what's funny is Justin pointed this out at the end of it. For a movie that's called Troll 2, it doesn't have any trolls in it. Um, it has goblins, which makes it funny that on the Wikipedia article it says Troll 2, and then in big brackets it says or goblins. Um, and so basically, very loosely, family is going to this town. The grandpa has been haunting the one son. I think he's real. He's a ghost, and okay. I was like, I couldn't figure out if it was supposed to be like he wasn't actually dead, or if he was just in the kid's head, or if he was actually a ghost. It's a very poorly written movie, and the dialogue is very. I call it stilted. Justin says that doesn't adequately describe just how bad it is. Um, but I say it's like an AI wrote it. It feels like if it was and is wrote it and is reading it. Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Um, so basically, the family is going to this town for a vacation, and I guess this town is where all these goblins live, and and then they get there and the goblins are eating people and feeding them disgusting food so that they are more delicious to eat. And the kid's grandpa keeps saying to the kid, "Don't let your family eat the food, or they're gonna die." And then, spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, they end up eating the food. And the final shot that you see is the goblins around the table, eating what I think is supposed to be the mother. Like the kid is like like weeping, and they're like, "What, care to join us? Do you want to eat?" And it's a really strange and weird movie that I recommend no one ever watch. That's because it's bad. Oh,
Mm.
interesting. So I was wondering why in brackets it says goblins. Apparently the script was originally titled Goblins. So why didn't they just say the monsters in it were trolls if they were going to change the name to trolls? Sorry, that's stupid. That bugs me.
Well, because some studio executive went, well, we did a focus group once, and people don't really like goblins, so we're gonna go with trolls because they're cuter. It's like, sir, but you understand this is a horror film. Yeah, I know, but we want the kids to come out, so we're just gonna name it Trolls. It's like, nah, no, I sorry, don't have time for this. Got to go to this movie about a clown. Calling it because I like that impression.
uh,
I got to go talk to this other guy who wants to make a movie about a clown. I think it needs to be scary. Let's do this.
See, a little behind the scenes for this episode though, because we're doing that for this episode. It was really funny when Justin said Troll 2. I look up Troll 2, and the first thing that comes up is Trolls World Tour. And I was like, "Did you do Trolls? Like what? I don't remember you doing this for the show." And Justin just like I show, and he's like, "No, no, 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 different Troll, different movie entirely. Not that one. No, 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 no." Yeah, that is the shortest one.
It's quite good. It's
It
quite
is
good.
really good. It's very fun. It really you get to see Tom Hardy as like the fighting in it is impressively like it feels like an actual fight. And Tom Hardy's character, if he was a real fighter, is absolutely savage.
Yeah. It is, however, in hindsight, it is actually just a non-comedic version of Here Comes the Boom.
Yeah, yeah, I can see the comparison. I could absolutely see the
It's
comparison.
great though. I love it. I love it so much. That's a movie. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Um, So for your benefit, Haley, the movie is about there. So you kind of get a dual story of two brothers who are both going into this UFC fighting competition. The one brother is a teacher who his school finds out that he was basically parking lot fighting, and he gets suspended, and he's going to lose his house if he doesn't win this competition. And the other brother, he was in the military, and he's trying to win money. For this one of his in his troop who was basically a brother to him, his widowed wife. He's trying to win money for, I believe it's for her.
Yeah, it's for
Um
her family, her and her son. Yeah.
And it's just it's I I'm gonna be I don't know that it's for you, but I
It's a
enjoy it.
great movie. It's a
I think
great
it's a
movie.
really
That's
good movie.
You lost me
it's
at
I
Tom Hardy because I don't know who the hell that is.
What?
You don't
What are you
oh,
saying
you
about Tom Hardy?
you yeah, Tom Hardy's Bane, he's Venom, he's in Inception, um um and and
My
he's savage in this. So it's like I believe that like he would lift up Christian Bale and crack him over his knee and break his back.
Yeah. There's two memes that circulate on martial arts pages on social media. One of them is a behind the scenes shot of the Superman punch from the film Never Back Down, which I know you've seen. And the best thing is everyone always comments on it as though that's a real fight, and I always have to be the shit stir that points out like, no,
Mhm.
that's just a behind the scenes shot from a movie. That's completely choreographed. Because I recognized it immediately, like it's Cam Gegenden or however the fuck you pronounce his weird ass name. Um, who legitimately, he's a legitimately good martial artist. So I change your fucking name anyway. And then the other one is the scene from Warrior where Tom Hardy's character agrees to spar with the like MMA guy who's got a fight coming up and
Mhm.
proceeds to just beat beat the living shit out of him. And the fight choreography in that scene is probably the best in the movie. Yeah, yeah, which gives so there's a lot of people that who are ignorant who say that MMA is dangerous compared to a sport like boxing, and it's like no, I mean there's absolutely not by comparison. The It's like well, but what is boxing? Boxing's a
Um,
little bit more because in MMA, if you give up, the fight's over. Like,
um, but one of the things that I appreciate about, I mean, I love the fight scenes in this movie. The choreography is fantastic. But I will say one of the things that also makes me appreciate this movie is like Tom Hardy and sorry, I said his name. The other brother, Joel Edgerton. The performance that they're putting on, like in regards to the character of their father is so strong. Like the scene with Tom Hardy when he's got the cup and he's putting and the dad shows up and he's like, "Where was this dad when I needed you? When I don't need you
yeah,
anymore. Go away, go away." And the repercussions from that is it's such an emotionally driven scene, and it's so powerful. Um,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like
And
it's oh
shout out to Kurt Angle as Koba. It is. It absolutely is. He's well, people forget because and again, I love it. I'll always remember tiny cowboy hat Kurt Angle, but Kurt Angle is a fucking savage. The man won a gold medal at the Olympics with a broken fucking neck. That's not hyperbolic. He was the only one until Gable Steveson, and he's not even there anymore. He was the only legitimate. No, I take that back. Um, no, he was the only Olympic gold medalist. because there were other Olympians that were in WWE, but he was the only Olympic gold medalist until Gable Steveson came in, and he was there but not there because he was like not allowed to compete. Otherwise, he'd lose his amateur status and he wouldn't be able to go to the Olympics. It was a weird. Pro wrestling is weird. But they had him under contract anyway, and he was kind of there. And I saw one match he did after the Olympics, but then he's not there anymore. And I'm just like, whatever happened to Gable Steveson? But this was after he won his gold medal though. I don't know. That's a solid reference. That is a solid reference.
We're gonna let this roll a little bit longer.
Big John, in my experience, Big John's the guy who stops a fight realistically before it maybe needs to be. But I'm a fan of safety though, particularly for the fighters, because unfortunately nobody really goes to bat for the fighters when they're not, you know, on top. And I like the fact because Big John's a fighter. A lot of people don't know that Big John he wanted to compete in the first UFC, but was told no. I feel like he might be. I couldn't tell you though. I don't remember. I don't recall. Yeah, never. This is true. No, no, but that wouldn't have been
John?
cinematic.
Um, I'm not seeing him on the cast list.
No, I think was he in Here Comes the Boom instead? I think he was in Here Comes the Boom. Yeah, that is the UFC. And
There's
that
three.
honestly that fight's a little bit more believable compared, but yeah, it's like you said. That fight would have been stopped when Kevin James is just not defending himself at all.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
I mean, fair enough.
um, there are three people on this cast list that it says as himself: Dan Caldwell, Brian Callen, and Rashad Evans.
Oh, they're fighters. Yeah, Rashad Evans, I know.
They all play. They all play themselves.
Yeah. So that would mean they're fighters in the cage. The first one is a guilty pleasure of mine. I've actually not seen the other ones, but they as a as a fan of Michael Jai White, um, in some of his movies, usually his kung fu flicks, there's a little bit too much like traditional martial arts are secretly this best thing ever when it's just demonstrably not fucking true. it portrays itself as that, but by that point, UFC was mainstream. But yeah, it portrays itself. Yeah, oh yeah, because Never Back Down came out. Well, okay, I take that back. They might have still been talking that way, but from a cultural osmosis standpoint, MMA was pretty well mainstream. Yeah. Hey, there were mats in some of those fights. Some of them. Oh yeah, at the beatdown. The rest of them are very much outside. Which okay, there is one thing I give that movie credit for, and it's the fight where he just very unrealistically beats up those four guys. But the fact that they actually go out of their way to make the pavement sounds to remind you that, hey, if you get thrown to the ground here, this is going to hurt like a motherfucker, and we want you to know that. I still maintain that Gladiator is a good movie.
And-
Yep. I mean, yeah, yeah. At the end of the day, yeah, yeah, that was human cockfighting. I think I like it. I think I like it so much, honestly, because I just wasn't expecting it. I was not expecting something of that caliber. Of like, I was expecting nothing. So
the the Russell Crowe one?
no, no, no. The
Oh, okay.
1993, and it reeks of it. Like the one kid has a literal rat tail. Like, and this is still the era of Hollywood where they assume that like African American youth still talk like it's 1974
Oh boy.
and dress like it too. It's like one dude's randomly wearing like a bowler hat, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is Chicago in '93. Like Stymie grew up and he's got anger issues.
I mean, we cut them.
It's a celebration.
Ooh, 82. We're at 82. I'm guessing.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
that would
come
be
on.
nice. Thanks, guys.
Old face.
5 more years. 5 more years.
Yes, we
Ooh,
do.
you're a
And
mean one.
you'll be happy to know I'm going to sit down and force myself to watch the mean one, so I will be prepared.
Yep.
I was gonna say I've
Yeah.
seen the other ones. I've seen the other ones multiple times. So
If you watch the NBC live um format of Matthew Morrison, yeah,
oh, I gotta see that.
yeah, it's not good.
Well, considering Matt Morrison on Glee, that's not out of left field. That's got nothing to do with Matt Morrison. That's his character, but that's how it's written. Oh yeah, we are, brother. Yeah.
I mean,
Under lips.
that's fair. It-
No.
What's going on? Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah. There aren't that many. I mean, the only one I can think of that you haven't already mentioned is the wrestler. Okay, that's well, there's Ready to Rumble.
So, Bonesaws ready?
Oh, oh, the Marine. Yeah, I forgot about the Marine.
Spider-Man, you
Very
know?
true.
Bonesaws ready?
So
Ma-
I have
Macho
to
Man Randy Savage.
I have to do two things. I have to invite people, if you enjoy bad Macho Man impressions, to watch the episode we did on Average Intelligence where Ken's Destroy the Barbie movie, because Macho Man Randy Savage makes a surprise appearance at the end to teach everyone a valuable lesson about egalitarianism. And the just a running gag I've had with my friend Eric, who this gag has existed since that Spider-Man movie came out, is for some reason Eric always thought that Macho Man was saying Bonesaw is relieved. So,
Bonesaws relieved.
so I just never let him live that down. I'm like, he's not saying relieved, right? He's saying ready. He was like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. And I'm like, yeah. So you just get in there and like you're getting in there and assuming that Bonesaw just ripped a fart and is now ready to fight. He's just like, Bonesaw is relieved.
That's great. So what? What if he did? Bonesaw
Listen
might
here.
live.
He's like, listen here, Spider Dick. I don't know what hole you crawled out of, but where I come from, we don't judge people based upon our race, creed, or sexual orientation. Yeah. He just lectures Spider-Man for 3 solid minutes about being a bigot. I'll have you know that my husband is one of the most talented seamstresses in the entire industry. Yeah.
And he loves me.
But to be fair, as my tush looks fantastic in it. Yeah.
Uh,
All around the world. Now, how sad is it that I was thinking about that lyric, but I couldn't figure out how to make it into a joke?
Synergy.
Oh no, but to answer your question, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, artemedia.org, Instagram, TikTok. In one very convenient central location. Do it your damn self. You are now. Yeah. Be lazy.
Lazy, efficient, two sides of the same coin.
YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, artmedia.org. I did like think about it for a second. I was like, well, there's one more. I can't think of the name.
On the TikTok.
On the TikTok. Till at least
Oh,
January.
it's not going anywhere.
How do you know that?
Well, for one thing, Donald Trump said he wouldn't ban it. But we'll see. I have faith.
I think that it. I think that
That's
it.
June, because he's the one who started this shit.
I
At
think
first he was all like, "Oh my God, China's doing this thing. It's called TikTok. I don't know if you've seen TikTok, but it's a thing that the Chinese do, and they're stealing our data. They're stealing it all. It's the most important data, and they're stealing it." And then he went from that to like, "Oh my God, TikTok is the greatest thing ever." Probably won me the election if I'm being honest. It probably did, because a lot of the kids are on the TikTok, and they were only listening to the Democrats, and they were learning all the bad things. And then I got on TikTok. My following's much bigger than Biden's. It's way bigger, and happened a lot. It is. It is. I was gonna say that's actually a true statement, but that's also something that Trump would point out. It's
that's
like,
that's where I was gonna make the joke. TikTok is way too good of a propaganda machine for him to ever want him. Like, he doesn't want to get rid of that. He's reaching all those young people with it.
see, what's funny about that is yes and no, because I don't want TikTok to go away for a myriad of reasons, not least of which being that when COVID was happening in the States, it was the only place, and I mean this truly, it was the only place where I could readily get dissenting information. Everywhere else, it was all being curated. Like TikTok is the place where I saw the video of police actually force vaccinating people in Brazil. TikTok was the first place I saw rocket fire into Israel. TikTok is where I first heard about October 7th. TikTok is where I hear a lot of things for the first time, including the TikTok ban, ironically. Because you hear it all, because it's all there.
Like TikTok was like the only place where I could have like a sense of community too.
Hey, yo.
Giving you money.
Yeah, and that's why that's one of the reasons I'm very upfront about it. It's like, oh, and I don't want any money from you. I mean, if you want to give me some, I'm not going to say no. But
I mean, yeah, it was because of TikTok I
Can't
met this
afford
dude.
to.
It was because
Yeah.
of TikTok I met this dude.
yeah, I mean, that's just demonstrably true. Look at people that have gotten famous on TikTok versus other platforms. It's a no-brainer. But what's funny is because I understood some of the concerns about TikTok, and then I watched the TikTok hearings, and it was actually specifically a representative from my state who said, and I'm not quoting, but I'm paraphrasing. It's like, well, when I get on TikTok, all I see is just a bunch of homosexuals and little girls, and I'm just like, who's gonna tell him? Who's going to tell him how the algorithm works? Is just kind of like
Who's gonna tell him the elephant in the room?
yeah. So we made a short about it and called him a pervert. Way too much. And if you even have a passing knowledge of how the internet functions, you're like, these people should not be making these decisions because they clearly do not understand how, why, or none of it. They just don't get it.
Mm.
I mean, the plate is set for him in so many ways for him to be, by the end of it, one of the most popular presidents ever, because he could preserve TikTok. He could do some sort of bargain where he can completely revitalize immigration policy with some sort of bargain and be popular on both sides begrudgingly, because the far lefties aren't going to go along with anything. But I think if he does it the right way, the reasonable people will come to him and say, "Yeah, okay, this is great." He can, if he does it right. Everything I'm saying is assuming that he's going to do it right, which it's Donald Trump we're talking about. So I'm optimistic, but
Mhm.
it's not a sure thing. He can get the poison out of our food in the United States. He can model it a little bit more like Europe and Canada and Japan, honestly. And that's something that he can do and said he's going to do. So hopefully, we'll see. Well, no, I mean he did a fair whack. He did do a fair whack of what he said. It's just not everybody agreed with what he said he was going to do. So
Yeah.
I
A
just don't
lot.
like him.
hey, fair enough. I was the guy that very early in 2016 was like, really, Donald Trump? But then I saw, at least in the States, I assume it was similar in Canada. But everyone just basically being like, there's no way in hell he can win. And I'm just like, I don't know. You guys are forgetting one very important detail. You've spent the last 8 years calling most of the country fucking idiots.
That's a very fair point to bring up. A lot of people were doing that.
Anywho, oh, see, this time I think it was exactly the opposite because I think the phrase I said the most in 2024 was, "Do y'all not remember 2016? You're doing the same shit, and your candidate is worse." Like I never thought they'd find a candidate worse than Hillary Clinton, but they did. Yeah, we are.
Yeah. At least it's not on my show.
I do Minecraft Monday, Zethgore187 on Twitch. I'm here on the weekends when we do this every weekend for a year. You you pay the right price. I will sell plenty of things.
But come sponsor me first because I'm the Broadway and Disney podcast.
Just make sure. Just make sure that you read your terms and conditions. Don't eat the shellfish.
Mm-mm.
He asked he asked for bad movies, and that was one of the worst movies I could think of. So
Oh well, I won't recommend you cover Vulgar then. It does, but to be fair, you don't see that much of it. Yes. Yeah, pretty much.
Mm. That's the theme, because Jordan says so.
I like it. Hmm.
Because Jordan says so.
It is. Oh, have you seen the second one?
He's going
Oh,
he's
you'll
going
understand.
he's going to next week.
To say you'll understand. You will understand.
This is exciting. I mean, you could play it as we like sign off, and they'll get like a snippet of it. Bye.
See ya.
Sunday
Can he do it?
morning, sun shines bright.